Hello, welcome to a new series on my channel called Welding, Fix and Repair. Now, there's quite a few people ask me to do a few videos. There'll be different bits of equipment, welders, etc, etc. I haven't got a clue where I'm going to start, but I'm over in Spain at the moment, and this neighbour dropped me this voice in. I thought, what an opportunity to start, you know, a new series of something different for some of my viewers. You'll either enjoy it or you won't. There'll be tips and tricks coming as we go along, different bits of tools that I've brought. May interest you, may not. Just makes life easier, doesn't it, at the end of the day? So anyway, this guy dropped in this voice, unknown age, probably only about 10-20 years old. So as we thought we'd do a repair on it, see if we could repair it. And well, I'm not going to give it away, but please continue to watch and you can judge that. Anyway, I hope you enjoy, and once again, please subscribe. We're getting there. We just need another 510 subscribers, but you may know people who'll be interested in things what I do. It's, at the end of the day, it's a learning curve for all of us. Hello everybody. Right, I wasn't going to start my welding series until I got back in the UK, but a next door neighbour has dropped this old voice in as a challenge for me to repair. So as I thought to myself, well, why not? It saves me doing housework, etc. So I was basically, it's a swivel voice, as you can see, but it's been smashed and had a piece missing. So we're going to attempt to repair this. Now it is a cast steel. Now with the casts, some people will want to weld them with MIG. It depends what they are. Now there's a little test you can do with casts, and I've done it quite a few times in my life. One is just the grind test. So as you put the grinder on it, and you see that there's not many sparks on there, so as that's telling you it is a cast. The other one is the dot punch, but I'm not going to go with that. You can dot it to see how hard it is, etc. If it breaks off, well, obviously it's broken off here. So we're going to attempt to repair it. Now my choice of welder, I'm just going to swing the camera around now just to show you what we've got as regards welding machines. Now, as you can see, the blue one is a MIG welder. That would be most people's choice, is to use this one. This is a pulse MIG, which are used for most of my little steel fabrications over here. You could possibly use that on a stainless wire and try it, but in my experience, it's like it's on that level of where no. Try it, you know, that's up to you. My preference is the stick welder. Now this is a small little inverter stick welder. It drops down to 110 when the electric supply drops. Nice little tool, nice and smooth, brilliant. So this is going to be my choice of welder to repair it. Now you may ask yourself, well, what's he going to use regards rods? Well, what you want is a nickel. Funnily enough, you could use the MIG with nickel wire, but at £200 plus a roll, unless you've got some nickel wire knocking about, then knock yourself out. But I ain't paying £200 a roll for nickel wire, where you can get nickel rods. You can get these small little packs from BLC. I don't think they're too expensive, probably about 30 quid, I'm not sure. I've got loads of nickel rods in my stock, but what I've got over here is a fresh stock of nickel rods. I estimate probably about four or five welding rods to use for this repair. So the question is, what am I going to use to fill it? Right. I've lucky to find some steel, which is over 100 odd years old. Now you can tell it's been riveted. None of this steel's been welded over here. This was me wreckers on my windows. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slither a piece off here on there, and then I'm gonna tap it on the diameter, and I found a nice bit of thick tube. I can tap that round. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do now. We're gonna cut that off there, so as we can get it round on the actual voice and get it somewhere near. You'll be able to grind it back. So as hopefully this should work. So as we will see. I'm just going to spin the camera around now, because what we're going to do everything on this this bench. This will be the welding bench and the grinding bench. So we're going to do that now. Now that was hard work to take that piece off there. Now it is very old steel, but when you look, if I do a grind test on this, just a moment. It's more or less similar to what we're actually joining, so it could be a bonus. What we're going to do now is clean that up with the sander in the voice, and then we can sort of manipulate it into a semicircle or near enough to as the voice, and then we can cut it then, get it prepped up, place it in, and then we can see how it welds up on there. So here's another way of manipulating a bit of steel to half a semicircle. This is quite warm at the moment, after being grinding out. As you can see, it's just forming round slowly. It is rather warm. So as all we've got a profile down here just to get it more or less on the voice the same. It's just a bit at a time. As you can see, it's just coming round on there. Adjust the voice up a little bit more. And we can get this wouldn't worry too much about overdoing it, because you can pull it back. We're just looking now to see where we are with the radius of this. Getting close. Very close. As you can see, it's forming the shape what we want it. Now if I can spin the camera around to here, now you've got the idea of where we can go with that. So as what you're using really is the profile of the side of there. So as obviously you can see, you just need a little bit more on that edge there to do it. Back to it as we need it. Again, just persevering with it on there. And once we get it like that, so if I can just show you now a basic simple rule to find out the radius so as we can get it right, is putting it over the top of the original one, and then start your black marker pen where it's correct and where it needs going a bit more. So as that is the correct radius there. So as we mark that as a pointer, but obviously it's just not quite where we want it to be. So as taking the markings there and looking at it, we need to bring it a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there, and then we're just going to concentrate on that area there with the hammer, just to bring it round a little bit more. That should be not too bad then. So it's just by placing it over the top now, we've put it around the side, we've marked it with a pen, and that's more or less where we're going to implant it, insert it, whatever you want to call that. So I'm hoping to get the cuts right. Then you want a bit of a V prep on it, just for preparation. But what we're going to try and do is just dab the top with a stick weld, just so as we know it's right. Wouldn't worry too much about gaps on there, because we'll fill it in with the nickel. And then if your radius is not, when you've put it in your radius is not what's name, you can just finish it off with a sander on there, as it is going into the other part of the vise, the foot. You've still got like probably about 6 mil all the way around, so as you can have a little bit of a play in it. You ain't going to get it exact, but it's all down to the welding. So as we'll try and get that tacked in now, and see where we go from there. Okay, we put some tacks on there, and then we've just sort of gone over it with the sander just to flat it off. Oh, there's a couple of voice spots on there. One moment. That's fine. Now, hopefully, this should well, let's see. I've cleaned this up a little bit. There's still a lot of muck in there. God knows how old it is. But this should now fit. Ooh. Absolutely fantastic. It's a tiny little bit tight, which is probably good. Probably when I've welded it up, it might shrink a little. Who knows? But it's lovely. I think when that's a bit of grease around there, I think that'll be fine. So what we've got to sort out now is, as you can see, we've got like a bit in there which I can cut a piece of square to go across there, and then I can weld across there and round there. And what you need to do when you do these welds is to peen them. Now when I say peening, I use quite a sharp chisel, and then you'll just tap away while it's cooling, to remove the slag as well. That to be quite honest with you, that's not bad for a bit of a guess. So I'm going to cut a piece now to go in there, and then we'll weld it up. Everything looks all right, to be quite honest with you. So we'll get that done. Nothing's pinged or cracked yet. We haven't given it any preheat. It's quite warm here today. It's like about 20-25. As you can see, I'm in my vest. It's not the best things to do while you're welding, but tacking up's fine. I've got an old jacket I shall stick on while I'm doing that, and obviously my gloves. Now also a little tool I brought off eBay, little handy little tool these are. Were worth a shot, around about £30. Although it says 21 volt, it says 12, but I complained and I got it for half price. So that's a nice tool. The batteries don't last that long. You can't put any excessive force on it, but it's good for cleaning out little areas. So that's another tip. There's quite a bit of magnetic particles around there. So, but yeah, it does the job to get in. Cheap as chips. Right then, so we'll cut this piece here now, put that in, and then we'll see how that looks, and then we'll start welding it up. And then we can clean it all off, and there's a chance I might have a little bit of blue paint somewhere, but if not, I've got some red oxide. So let's see how that goes then. Your cast welds, your nickel welds are never pretty. Don't worry about it too much, as it's the strength of the nickel mainly. What your game goal is to achieve. You can see I'm just peening that. I've just welded it, so I'm just peening it. This should stop any cool cracking as it cools down. Needle gun's fine if you can get an air needle gun. We used to use that on the bigger jobs, but I've just run that one in now. I've just got one more run to do round the outside, and then I can blend it all in. But what I will say is, once I've welded it, I shall put something on it to slow cool it. So I'm just going to do a bit of a run, and you'll see basically how it welds. It's not the best of welding rods to weld, but it sort of gets it going, if you know what I mean. Right, let's get a good return on there. Try that. And it's just a bit difficult to get the welding rod running. You've just got to hold it like more or less a millimetre over what you're doing, or that will happen. It takes a bit of practice if it's your first time. I would suggest practicing on some scrap first. But we'll give that a bit of peening. Like I say, there's a bit of mess around there, but don't worry about it too much. It'll all sand out nicely. So I am happy with that. The big tester now is to slow cool it now. Well, I'm going to have some dinner. And then when we'll come back to it when it's cold, we can start dressing it up then, and hopefully with a bit of primer on it and a bit of paint. Now you're probably asking what sort of amperage I'm using. Well, as a rough guide, it's always on the box of any welding rods. These are 2.5 rods, and it will give you a somewhere on there. It will give you a guide on amperage. Now these are 2.5s, so as the guide range is 60 between 80 amps. Now I'm on sort of 85, 90. I don't know how accurate that is, but that is a nice set for doing that. AC or DC. This is DC, positive electrode, and an open circuit voltage minimum of 50 volts, which most welders are around that 50, 58ish anyway. So I thought I'd use sort of, what did I say, 3 to 4 welding rods. I think I've used 3. Not a bad guess, really. I'm gonna have some dinner now, and then we'll get it all cleaned up and then put back together, and now I can give that back to the guy up the road. Hopefully there's no cracks in it. Right then, let's have a look and see where we are with this. That's cool. That's at ambient temperature. Okay. Surprisingly, we've got no cracks. Now then, it's not very nice on the old lungs, this stuff is. The graphite off the rods, the nickel, the fumes, the vapour. So as I would suggest to wear something like this at the least to do it. I'm going to clean this up now and see where we are. So, nasty stuff that. We've cleaned it all up. Let me see if I can zoom in on that a little bit so as you can have a look. There you go. So it's all down to now this, how this fits, which it has. That's perfect. What can I say? So what we're going to do now is just put a little bit of a primer on the repair, clean the outside up and reassemble it. Right then, we got the voice assembled, more or less. So as the top is perfect and does what it should do, lock up. So we're just going to take this out the voice now, the voice out the voice, and flip it over. All I've got to do now is put like a bit of a screw in the back so as the guy can, he won't come out on him. But there you go. That's how it should be. Not sure why that's out of line for, but probably might want to shoe in there. So I think that will do him. Perhaps, I think, to be quite honest with you, I think it needs a shim in the bottom. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. Very interesting. I wonder if that was what it broke in the first place for. Let me just have a look. See what we can do here. Right. Okay. Right, then I can see what the problem is there. I can see what the problem is there. It needs a shim. Just dropping in the back. Okay, so unfinished. So as what we noticed then, there was a little piece missing in the back to keep the jaws in line when they've been tightened up, which we've put that piece in to sort that out. So I'm happy with that now. This now, I can go back to my neighbour. So as that now should be perfect, as they say, perfectly in line. When the jaws come together, within a few mil, like most of the people, they can just take that off with a grinder just to square it up. You got your swivel base is now locking up as it should. So as I would say, that now is a job done, and we'll see how long that lasts. I've welded voices up in the past, especially when they've gone through the actual front jaw itself, and have been fine. So as another happy customer. Thanks for watching.